If a spacecraft ignited its rockets in the vacuum of space, would they work? And most importantly, would they push the spacecraft forward? Rockets carry their own oxidizer, which allows combustion even without atmospheric oxygen. The fuel and oxidizer react, producing high-pressure gas that is expelled, creating forward thrust. The spacecraft moves in the vacuum thanks to this gas expulsion, following the principle of Newton's third law of motion.
Oh, really now? Well, according to Newton's third law formula, it can be summarized as, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This means that when two objects interact, they exert forces on each other. These forces are equal in magnitude size, but opposite in direction. The formula for this law is often written as FAB equals minus FBA, where FAB is the force exerted by object A on object B, and FBA is the force exerted by object B on object A. So in other words, you need to have something to push off. That's why in a vacuum, propulsion does not work as follows.
It'll actually blow this torch out.
And he just mentioned it won't turn much when there's a vacuum, of course. So he's cranking down the vacuum. Slowly pulling the vacuum down. Still has the ion. The ability to create the back pressure. Yeah, slowing down, isn't it? It is an interesting experiment, that's what he just said. Not quite vacuum yet. There you go. Gee. See, I guess NASA can get a rocket and a spacecraft to move around out in space, but you can't even get a fucking paperclip to spin in a vacuum chamber?
So let's put our spinning propeller thing in the vacuum chamber and see if it can spin with no air. We're at a full atmosphere right now, so you can see that it's easily spinning in there. But let's turn on the vacuum and see what happens. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're at 0.1 atmospheres now, so we're getting down to a pretty good vacuum in there, but there's still some air. Okay, so you can see it's still spinning in there. We're at a pretty good vacuum now, but it's still getting a little bit lower. You can't see on the gauge there. But this is definitely not spinning like it was at full atmosphere. Oh, it looks like it's stopping. I think it's stopping. It's trying to go. And it's stopped. Okay, so we're at a full vacuum now, and it's not able to propel itself forward using that ionic thrust. So you can see without air, it can't push itself forward. When there's no neutral air there, it can't push itself forward. But now, once we let the air back in, okay, let some air back in, and then it starts going again.
The only way for a rocket to propel itself in a vacuum would be to push off the walls of the vacuum chamber, or to introduce gas inside of that vacuum to create a non-vacuum to push off. So, space travel debunked.